welcome to the Pig and Whistle Tales from Azeroth. As always, here at the Pig and Whistle Inn in Stormwind, I go for a variety of subjects with regards to World of Warcraft. I grab a bottle or a pint, sit back and enjoy. This midweek episode will be going over forums, and we're going to be looking at some of the things that people are sort of discussing. I've got a couple things here. One is a more general thing that I want to kind of discuss, and the other is more hardcore WoW, because hardcore WoW has died kind of a bit of a death, I'm not going to lie. It always would have done, because it's not something that is as sustainable. It is just some people would eventually like to get to level 60 and have this as sort of a side project, hardcore WoW, but, you know, it is what it is. So, let's get straight into it. The first one is hardcore disconnects. Now, I cannot believe that this is still some people, like, I can't believe that people are still putting this on the forums. I'm not going to lie. Blizzard have always stated, before World of Warcraft Hardcore Classic even came out, that they will not be reviewing deaths and giving you your characters back. They have said no one will get it, no matter what death they have, no matter what they do. The only thing that can be done is if you are griefed, they can look to ban the player that griefed you. That is the only thing that they have ever specified that they would be looking into, and nothing else. So, it's called hardcore disconnects. Look, I've never had a problem with my internet. However, power outages happen, and that means you need to restart a character that you have spent 5 days playing because you got shafted. I simply cannot be bothered playing a game where the developers aren't listening to solve these problems. They can't solve a problem when it's not on their end. Firstly, that's on your internet provider, just cutting out. It's one of them things. And again, they have been very open and have stated many times they are not going to, anyone who has DC'd or been griefed or whatever, they are not going to restore their character. How can I pay for a monthly subscription to a company that doesn't solve this problem? The tenacity of people playing this game after a hardcore death after level 30 is crazy to me. I just lost a level 46 named Terramistooth to a power outage. There is zero chance that I will play this game if this is not solved. Eat crap, Blizzard. You were once loved, now hated. You do not care to solve these problems, only push your own agenda. The problem that I have is that this is really easily solved in a coding aspect that I'm baffled. Hardcore is a great idea. Execution on resolving disconnect deaths is laziness on a very large company within the budget and a small business move if they were to execute. Why am I writing this? They will never care to do anything about. Already admitted that they do not care about the player base. Okay, I don't think they've... this entire post is ridiculous. Firstly, the death was because of his internet provider. The internet cut out. Blizzard has nothing to do with that. He has not disconnected from the servers. He has just had a power outage, as he stated. Secondly, Blizzard have been very open, like I said, about not restoring any deaths. They will not be monitoring it. They will monitor hardcore griefs, but not deaths. They do not, even if you are griefed, you are not getting your character back. They have stated that. Now, to go through each and every individual and be like, oh yeah, you had a power outage, or oh my god, you didn't, is nearly impossible. If someone's about to die, or they think they are going to die, you pull 5 mobs. If you stand there and act like your power cut out, then it's like, oh my god, look at this clip, my power cut out, please Blizzard, can you restore my character? No, it's ridiculous. They can't look at everyone's situation and give you your character back. They can't monitor it. Hardcore private servers did monitor it purely on the basis of people are specifically looking at that, and it's a very small percentage of World of Warcraft in comparison to the whole game. So in the whole game, you've got 5-6 million subs, however many people are playing. That's over the course of multiple different World of Warcrafts, retail, classic, season of discovery, you know, all of them. In terms of hardcore, you probably have a 500k player base count. Yeah, that's quite a lot, and it's a lot more than what the people who did it on the what is it called? The classic era servers, when it was just an add-on. It's a lot more than what people were doing there, because about, we'll say 10,000 people were doing hardcore classic, something like that, when it was just an add-on, before it really got some notoriety. So it's a lot easier to manage. But with this many people, you can't manage each player individually. Now, as for someone who has got a level 60 hardcore character, the way that I always played it was, if I die, I die. It's nothing too big of a deal. I get that some people really take it seriously, but I think that having to take this very seriously means that, honestly, you're stressing so much more about it and you're more likely to die. Yes, again, it was a power outage. It's unlucky. But when you die and you've taken it this seriously, you're more likely to have an overreaction. This is an overreaction. This is someone who has just been kind of had a bit of unfortunate luck, essentially, is the best way to put it. And they've not taken it well. I wouldn't take it well, but at the same time, I'd be like, it is what it is. You can't really control it. It's not a thing where you go on the forums and be like, oh, they're fucking shit, when it's not even their fault. Like, it's ridiculous. Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous. If he really is that much, or having this much of a problem towards it, he shouldn't be playing Hardcore Classic. That's it. He shouldn't. You need to take Hardcore Classic. Yes, you can take it as your main game, but please don't take it as seriously as this guy, because if you do, you understand that you're putting in the hours to potentially lose all them hours if you die. Now, these hours, they're not wasted, obviously. Like, you can have some really good memories in these hours. You can have near, like, or close calls. You can have, like, amazing dungeon groups. You know, you can have many different things. And these hours are certainly not wasted, but you have to realise that these hours that you're putting into the character can all just go. That this character can just die on a hardcore server. You do not lose the character indefinitely. You can transfer it to a classic era server. You don't have to do that. Remember, you don't have to stay there dead. You can move it to another server and continue playing it. But yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous that this guy is blaming Blizzard for the lack of, I don't know, just for him not getting his character back when his internet provider just disconnects. You know, it's one of them silly things, in my honest opinion. But yeah, it's ridiculous. This has been out for a few months now, and people still are crying that, you know, this is a thing, and I just don't understand it. This one is more of a general one, and this isn't specific to anything, but the title is Should I Quit WoW? So last night I was running content with a group, a guild, in brackets, guild whom I thought was friendly. I introduced myself as a fellow fire mage. And it wasn't anything special, just a regular mythic dungeons. Apparently I'm not even good at that. But I got accused of messing with them in, oh my god, quotation marks. And I ultimately left the group / guild because they were mocking me in voice chat for being apparently annoyed by them and being Horde, even though I was trying to follow their instructions as accurately as possible. In PvE content, just not fit for me? Honestly, I remember raiding back in MOP and I was top DPS as a subtlety rogue, but apparently I am more than terrible now. I was honestly giving it my best and still failing, and I feel so terrible for letting the team down. Even if they have been rude intentionally. Should I just quit WoW or resort to only playing casually, like maxing professions, etc.? I feel like I'm never be as good a player as others, and it's really depressing. Okay, there will always be people who are better than you at the game, unless you are one of the best in the world at, like, arenas, PvE, stuff like that, you know, the high-end, like, pro players who continuously play this game, like, week in, week out, and compete, stuff like that. There will always be people better than you. It is a bit down, like, depressing, but it happens. Secondly, these aren't people that you want to associate with. The guildies in this are, you don't want to associate with them. I've had guilds that I thought were nice in the past, turned out they really weren't. They were bunch of dicks, really. And once I got out of that, I was very happy. I was very happy, and I could actually enjoy the game. That's the thing. And you need to realize that you'll find people to play with eventually. And when you do find the right people to play with, you will enjoy the game a whole lot more. As for playing it casually, that's the best way to improve. If you play it casually, you find the people that you enjoy playing with, you will slowly get better, just in time. And casually doesn't mean doing professions or just like world content. You can do mythics. Mythics that, like, lower mythics are very casual, in my honest opinion. They're quite easy to do. And obviously, you're not going to be the best at mythics to start off with. DPS rotation-wise, you might not understand it. Mechanics you might not understand, but once you've done it a few times, you know the mechanics. Oh, okay, I understand this. I need to move here. I need to be in this position. And then your DPS rotation, you just get better and better at it as you play more and more, because you really mid-max your rotation, and that's just to practice. That's just remembering what to press next, When are my cooldowns up? Oh, okay, this is when I press my cooldowns, that kind of deal. Honestly, this is a very sad post, and it's goes to show that no matter who you're playing with, this isn't like this guy specifically, but if you're playing in a pug group, you just randomly join a dungeon group, don't be a dick to people, because it can affect them. It can stop them from playing the game. It can really like hurt their ego when playing, and they might not want to play it at all. And they might feel a bit down about themselves. You don't know what's happening on the other end of the keyboard, essentially, or the monitor. And just being a decent human being in any of these pugs goes up a really long way. It really, really does. I got a message from someone. I was doing a Wrath dungeon, and I was gearing like my mage or something, and there was a tank that was quite obviously new. I backfilled because they like essentially had just started and a DPS quit, and the tank was not understanding the heroic plus mechanic. It was in Gundrak, and essentially the heroic plus mechanic was the tank had to pick up this goo debuff on him, and this goo debuff essentially turned red pools into green pools, and these green pools were good, red pools were bad. I simply said, hey, like, come back here and pick up this. You'll need it for the mythic or the heroic plus mechanic. And, I was just showing him where the cauldrons were throughout to refresh the buff. And towards the end, like, he said, hey, thanks for like showing me this. Like, it's really kind of you. A lot of people are just very impatient, and I appreciate it. And it made my day. It's just generally, you just have to be a nice person in this game. A lot of people don't anymore, and it's absolutely ridiculous, and I don't understand why. The whole Wrath of the Lich King and Classic thing was, oh my god, what about the community? What about the community? I have met about 90% of the people that I have talked to and stuff be absolute dickheads. And that's why I don't give a shit about Wrath of the Lich King community. And I actually am looking forward to Kata, because people who complain, or like people who shout the loudest in terms of, oh my god, it will ruin the community, they're the ones who ruin it, because they're dickheads. They don't take the time to, talk to a newer player or someone who's learning a role like tank, healer, DPS, anything. And, this sort of post, it really just shows that. This is a retail post, I would imagine. And the thing is, like, retail can be very overwhelming late game. You have a lot of spells, you have a lot of things going on. Like, mythic mechanics are very in-depth, like, compared to, say, Wrath of the Lich King, like, raid mechanics. And you've got to give people time for that, but people don't. And that's the shit thing. And that's what we need to get better as a community, in my honest opinion, which I'm going to be going over in one of my later episodes, probably this week more so than anything. But yeah, it is just a sad little post, and I hope this guy carries on playing. What I'm reading in the forum comments after this post is a lot of no, don't worry about them, they're dickheads, that kind of thing, which is really good. And that's what we want to see more of, really. More of that rather than the, oh my god, get out of this group, you're shit, that kind of deal. But that is it for this episode. Thank you all very much for listening. As always, do check out the social medias down below. Constant stuff happening over there. But thank you all very much once again. And go with Valor, friend. Goodbye all.